Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be trying another recipe that I found online while scrolling through Instagram Reels. This one is for a sushi crunch wrap and it looks really good. I've been seeing a ton of recipes that involve rice paper lately and this one is no exception. It seems like it's going to be really easy to make and super good. So let's give this a try and see how it comes out. The recipe that I am somewhat following today is from Fit Foodie Living. This is the one that I saw when I was scrolling through Instagram Reels. Hers looked amazing. I'm just gonna make a couple little tweaks to mine as I put this together. It's basically gonna be the same thing though. So I'm gonna start off with about a cup of cooked short grain rice or sticky rice. You can use pretty much any rice for this, but it is going to work best with the sticky rice. So this has been cooling for a few minutes. It just came out of the rice cooker. I am going to season mine with just a little bit of rice vinegar and a little bit of salt and sugar. So I'll add in, I don't know, maybe about a teaspoon or so of the rice vinegar, about a half teaspoon of the sugar, and then just a little bit of salt. This is in no way authentic sushi, but this is generally how you season sushi rice. So I'm just gonna give this a mix and let this set off to the side while I prep the rest of my ingredients. Since I am making this in kind of a California roll style, I'm going to slice up some cucumbers and also a little bit of avocado. I'm just going to do a relatively thin slice on here. And this is all just going to get layered up in that crunch wrap. And then I'm going to take one small avocado. I'll cut that in half. Oh, that's a pretty good one. I'm going to put aside the half with the seed because that's just going to save better in the fridge. And then I'll make some slices right through this, not piercing the skin on the other side. And then it's gonna be super easy to scoop out some really clean slices. Once you've made those slices through, you'll just slide the spoon in between the skin of the avocado and it'll come right out. And then finally, the last ingredient I am going to prep is my crab stick. Now you can get the shredded kind, but I could not find it at the grocery store. So I'm just going to shred up the crab sticks and it's super easy to do. Just run a fork through it and you'll get nice little shreds. In the original recipe that I saw, she used a different protein. She used a can of tuna. And you could definitely do that and kind of make this a spicy tuna style, or you could use maybe some cooked salmon. This is gonna be kind of a spicy California roll style. And she had a great substitute for sriracha mayo, and I'm gonna try that out. So I'm just gonna put my crab mix right into a bowl, and to that, instead of adding mayo, I'm going to add in a little bit of Greek yogurt. So I'll just do kind of a generous spoonful of that, maybe a couple tablespoons, and then I'll add in some sriracha. And if you did not want this to be spicy, you could definitely leave that out or add in just a little bit less. Season it however you want, but I'll give this a nice little mix here. And it should be a little bit of a lower fat, higher protein alternative. So I have everything prepped and now I'm gonna move on to actually building the crunch wrap. So what you need for this is a couple layers. One of the layers is going to be rice paper, and these are just some spring roll wrappers. And then the other layer is going to be seaweed. And this is the Sushi Nori. And you can find both of those just usually at the regular grocery store. So I am going to start off with my spring roll wrappers. I am going to dip this into a little bit of water. You just do a really quick dip and then place this on my countertop. And my countertop is clean. I'm going to repeat this with 3 more sheets. So we're gonna have a total of 4. And I'm just going to kind of layer them so that they form a square. And you want to make sure that they are overlapping in the middle so that you don't end up with a little bit of a hole in the center. And then on top of that, I am going to layer on my seaweed. She used 4 sheets I think mine might be just a little bit smaller than hers, so I'm going to probably wind up using maybe 2 or 2.5. And then on top of that, I am going to put in a layer of my rice. So I'll add in about half of it, and then I'm gonna wet my hands to press it down. If you wet your hands, then you're not going to have rice sticking to your fingers. And then on top of that, I am going to do my crab mixture, and you could definitely use, again, whatever protein you want. Tuna, salmon, the imitation crab, totally up to you. Then I'm going to layer on my cucumber. The avocado goes on next. She added on some crispy onions, and I happen to have a bag that I never used from around Thanksgiving, and they are still just in their best by date. I have like another month to use them. So I'm gonna throw a few on top here. And then I'm going to put on just a little bit more rice over the top of that. This layer is gonna be a little bit thinner than the one on the bottom. And then it's time to fold it all up. So I'm gonna do my best not to tear this. The rice paper can be a little bit fragile. It's coming up pretty good though, so just going to kind of wrap it up like a little present. And the rice paper is really sticky and it will stick to itself. And there you go. We have our little crunch wrap. Next step is to make it crunchy, so we're gonna toss it in the air fryer. I have had issues with rice paper and seaweed kind of sticking to my air fryer before, even though it is non-stick. So I'm gonna put down a piece of parchment paper, and she recommends to spray it with some oil. I don't have any oil spray, so what I'm going to do is just kind of coat the outside in some oil. And you do need to do this step. That's going to help the rice paper kind of puff up and get a little bit crispy. And then this is super optional, but I am going to sprinkle on some sesame seeds just for a little bit of extra crunch, and it'll make it look really nice. Then I will just put the lid on my air fryer, and I am going to set this to air fry for 5 minutes or until the rice paper is crispy. So I'll start with 5 minutes, and then we'll check on it and see if it needs a little bit more time. Okay, so this has been 5 minutes, and there's definitely some crispy spots on it, but there are a few areas that I think could just use a little bit more time. So I'm gonna put it in for maybe another 2 or 3 minutes until you start to see more of that kind of white, bubbly kind of coating to it, where the rice paper is really starting to get crunchy. And I think it's gonna be perfect. So just a couple more minutes and we can give this a try. Okay, I think that was just enough time. So for me, that was 7 minutes. She recommended putting it in the air fryer at 400 for about 5. So if you have the same one as I do, the Ninja Crispy, then it would be about 7 minutes on air fryer mode. Okay, this has had a few minutes to cool off, so I am going to go ahead and give this a slice. Kind of cut it on a diagonal. It's still pretty hot, but let's take a look at what's inside, and that looks amazing. All right, I have my sushi crunch wrap here, and now let's give it a try, see how it came out. I think it's gonna be really good. That's amazing. This came out really good. I think it tastes almost exactly like a California roll, except when you substitute the Greek yogurt for the mayo, it doesn't have the exact same flavor. I think it actually tastes a little bit more like cream cheese. So if you are a fan of cream cheese rolls, like Philadelphia rolls, then I think you will like this substitution. I think it tastes really good, but if you're not a fan of cream cheese, you might just want to stick with regular mayo for this one. Otherwise though, it is a really cool idea. I love the crunch wrap idea. It was super easy to make, and this makes a lot of food. So I think you could easily kind of turn this into 2 much smaller crunch wraps because this is a lot. But I think I'm gonna be making this one again, and it is super good. Great recipe. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe to this down in the description box below, along with a link to the original creator's video and all of my social media pages so you can follow along for more cooking content throughout the week. Hope to see you back here next time.